Hello, greetings and welcome, my dear viewers and listeners. Welcome to the Season 2 of Your Homebrews series. We return after quite some time, our community far larger than before. As before, I will present the homebrews of my dear fans with a possibility that some of those creations end up in my narrated series. This season will be long, not only because of the amount of homebrews, but also the amount of lore that was sent my way. In some cases, I was given documents over 70 pages long. Of course, for the sake of my own and your sanity, I won't sit here for 20 hours and read everything that was written. That would be too much. So expect an abridged version of some entries. I apologize to the authors, but I can't allow singular entry to take over multiple episodes. Or for an episode to take more than an hour. On the similar note, I extend my deep thanks to all authors who sent me the art of their creations my way. The AI-generated images can be handy, but they aren't as good as intentionally created art, models, and depictions. Now, to make sure no one is surprised, the first homebrews that will end up in the series belong to my Patreon supporters, as they have priority on the list. With just $1 you get to join this community, getting voting power, as well quite a bit of additional content. I also encourage you to comment your thoughts below about creations of your fellow fans, and drop a like under this video. With that out of the way, let's start with a creation of not only a dear viewer and listener, but a dear friend of the channel. The artist most of you should know and adore by now. Ladies, gentlemen, lizardmen, and everything beyond and in between. I present the creation of the one and only Hayden Lumpkin. The Pavu'khani. We starting strong with a new Xenos species that joined the coalition of a greater good. Hayden Lumpkin, being himself, couldn't just deliver the lore of a new species, but he also created art for them, because this man is unstoppable. Pavu'khani are a nomadic species with no homeworld to speak of. They travel through the void using so-called spindle void carriers and hide within several mobile space stations known as nests. Usually hidden within dense asteroid fields or orbiting rogue planets, flying aimlessly through the deep, dark void. They are interesting as they are arachnid centaur cyborgs. They are around 180 centimeters tall and weight around 170 kilograms on average. They have superb, yet light-sensitive eyesight, acute 3D spatial awareness, and no sense of smell. They lay eggs like typical arachnids, and are omnivores who see meat as a luxury. They communicate through vocal and digital means, mostly thanks to their excessive cybernetic augmentations. They live between 100 and 150 years, though they can endure far longer because they tend to use cryostasis a lot during their travels through the void. They have 4 highly dexterous arms and 4 legs, which allow them to climb on almost any surface. They possess both light endo and flexible exoskeleton, giving them incredible durability for an arachnid species. However, due to their prolonged life in sterile environment over ships and space stations, they can't breathe standard atmosphere for prolonged periods of time. They have weak immune system and methane-based respiration. Thankfully, with excessive cybernetics that this species uses a lot, this problem isn't as prevalent as some could suspect. Though, at the same time, some Pavu'khani become dependent on those cybernetics. As to their psychology and nature, they are superstitious yet agnostic people, believing in a form of machine spirits due to their reliance on machines, yet they fear their own gods, memory of which they carry from a long-forgotten homeworld. Their gods are associated with the nature of a galaxy, astronomical hazards and anomalies, things to be avoided and endured. To pray to the gods is to get their attention and most likely their ire, so Pavu'khani are suspicious of religious species. For what madman would draw their ire of the gods? The only exception to this rule is their creator god, Pavu'khani, the father of the void, who shields them in the void beneath his shadow. They are fundamentally a void-born species, feeling uncomfortable walking on planets as well as being fiercely protective of their vessels and space stations. The past of this species is mostly unknown, their history being retold through oral traditions or calligraphy written alongside the hulls of their beloved vessels. A confusing mix of myths, legends, and prophecies cover endless kilometers of walls. Many fragments lost or left fragmented due to damage taken in battles, the leading matriarchs doing their best to recover lost knowledge and wisdom. What is known for sure is that a catastrophic event known as whirlwind scattered the species among the stars. It isn't known for how long Pavu'khani traveled through the stars, but some ancient sources found within the Imperial Archives, leagues of Votan libraries, and even Makian ancient texts speak of a vessels matching the design of Pavu'khani, implying those Xenos traveled through the void before Great Crusade was even launched. The Pavu'khani fleets roam the galaxy, acting as pirates and scavengers, hiding in the shadows of other empires, some acting as parasites, some as mercenaries. Some Pavu'khani are even serving Drukhari. This species became known to the Tauva coalition not long after the breaking of a warp storm barrier which engulfed the region of the galaxy. It wasn't long before they faced Arachnid pirates. Not long after those initial meetings, however, a large number of Pavu'khani clans migrated into Coalition proper, asking for protection. This migration happened in response to the gathering of Imperial forces before the Ironfall Crusade. Wanting to get out of the danger zone, Pavu'khani clans decided to establish more friendly relationship with the Coalition. Watercast worked quickly, strengthening friendly clans and subverting hostile ones. In a few years, a newly formed clan, the Pavu'khani, Children of a Greater Good, under the leadership of ambitious Gaskar Pavu'khani, Father of a Greater Good, pledged his loyalty to the Tau, becoming their vassal, in exchange for support to unite a number of clans under his command. They operate as a tribal flotilla confederacy comprised of a number of nest fleets who have pledged their loyalty to the Coalition and Pavu'khani. Interestingly enough, Pavu'khani's society is gender-locked, where females are engineers and administrators, while males serve as warriors, pilots, and general labor, making the entire species compatible with a caste system. Traditionally, matriarchs rule in the time of peace, when males taking the title of a Khan rule during the times of war or hunt. Mentioned Gaskar Pavu'khani is a radical reformer, with his vision to unite his entire species under a single clan. He declared unending hunt by the grace of a greater good, to extend his rule in perpetuity, making himself a dictator. Within the coalition, they mostly work alongside the air caste, acting as privateers, naval escorts, scouts, and explorators. However, some of them found their place serving with the earth caste thanks to their engineering talent, or water caste due to their linguistic abilities and possession of numerous contacts with civilizations outside the coalition space. A strong first entry, and only one of 4 he created. In the next video, we will explore both mentioned Gaskar Pavu'khani and space vessels that they use in the void travel. After that, we will visit his other creation, another alien species. But let's focus on something else now. For the next is a double entry by Black Comment 1224, The Radiant Path and Sisters of the Path. If you snoop around 40k communities, you most likely seen his art before. He came up with the idea of Order of Sisters of Battle that joined the Tau Empire. The origins of both the Radiant Path and the Order is found in Helena, a compassionate soul who loved the Emperor, but more importantly, loved the people of the Imperium. She was troubled by all the suffering people had to endure, but saw it as a test. This changed during a tragic warp jump that happened when the Great Rift opened. Helena witnessed corruption of chaos and death of priests of a Ministerium vessel. Her prayers to the Emperor remained unanswered. And as she was about to lose hope, the Radiant One appeared before her. This being claimed to be a fragment of the Emperor's soul, once cast away in his pursuit of godhood. A piece of his compassion and humanity, lost and forgotten. Until now, the Radiant One showed Helena vision of a galaxy ruled not by tyranny and fear, but unity and harmony. A place where everyone could live together, even peace between humans and Xenos was possible. Where sacrifice was a choice, not a demand. Where faith was not a weapon, but a beacon of hope. Helena swore herself to this new path. Her ship was spat out of the warp and by chance saved by the expeditionary force of the Tau Empire. Wounded, disoriented and reeling after losing and rediscovering her faith, yet they showed her kindness. They asked her to do one thing, to listen, and she did, as they spoke of a greater good. It was hard to shrug off decades of indoctrination, but after being abandoned by the God Emperor and then saved by the Radiant One, she was prepared to change her ways. And in Tauva, she saw a reflection of the Radiant One's vision. It took time and much work from both herself and the Tau. It was when she met with one of the Seekers, ethereals who abandoned all political power to seek knowledge and enlightenment, one named Aun Borkan Truth-Seeker, that she saw the truth of things. The Imperium was not salvation. It was a cage, and she had been freed. She met with other survivors, namely former sister Repentia Aveline, who was given similar vision to herself. They talked at length before truly becoming sisters to one another. They vowed to spread the word of the Radiant One to the Gwevesa serving in the Tau Empire. Humans who struggled to reconcile teachings of old faith with reality of a greater good heard her words and converted en masse. Some within the Empire saw this new cult as a problem, but both the Seeker and Watercast saw this faith as a tool that could be used to benefit the Tau Empire. Truth-Seeker especially saw opportunity in Helena's faith. He became her patron, and with his support, this new faith spread within and even beyond the borders of the Tau Empire. The initial converts were Gwevesa, who found spiritual fulfillment. The hope of this new path was endearing. To them, the Radiant Path and the greater good weren't contradictions, but pieces of the same whole. As this faith started to spread, more Tau started to see it more than just a tool, but a bridge between Tau philosophy and human need for faith. An amazing tool for integration into the Empire. There were skeptics, of course, especially those of the fourth sphere of expansion, but in the end, this faith was seen overall useful, even if it introduced some risk into the system of the Tau control. However, for all the disdain of the fourth sphere to the Radiant Path, their feelings were nothing compared to the burning rage of the Imperium when they learned of this heresy. An Imperial priestess and sororitas not only renounced the God Emperor, but embraced a Xenos faith. The threat of this faith was grave enough that it reached the halls of the High Lords of Terra, who noted the spread of this heresy throughout the eastern fringe. It wasn't just a blasphemy, it was a direct challenge to not only the imperial territories, but the very soul of mankind. Helena and Aveline were declared as apostates, and a holy purge was launched to destroy all underground churches of the Radiant Path within imperial territories. Sisters of Battle led the hunt against those heretics, unknowingly or ignorant of, but with every pyre set ablaze, they gave birth to a new martyr. Helena's very disciples that taught the faith throughout the imperial territories were hunted down, tortured, and executed as a warning. Yet, instead of breaking this faith, the Imperium only made it stronger, and the 10 disciples of Helena became the first 10 saints of a new faith. Their sacrifice was a rallying cry of numerous Gwevesa and other auxiliaries within Tau Empire who embraced the Radiant Path. Every martyr was a proof that the Imperium feared them, and if Imperium feared them, then the faithful held true power. The conviction of the masses was strengthened after Helena and Truth-Seeker managed to convince the High Elemental Council that the Radiant Path was no rival to Tau-Va, but evolution of this ideology, a way to bind humans and other species together. Their words convinced even most skeptical of ethereals that their devotion to the greater good was absolute. This was known as the First Great Trial, one endured from both within and without. Soon after being recognized within the Tau Empire, the faith became a legitimate institution, seen as an ally to the Tau-Va. On the planet of Siayum Prime, a main headquarters of Radiant Path Ecclesiarchy was established. Helena was declared the first luminary supreme and the highest authority of faith. Beneath her, High Council of Illumination was formed, made out of most enlightenment of clergy. This council would oversee doctrine, governance, and administration of a new church. With establishment of centralized HQ and blessing of ethereals, militant arm of a church was established, with Sister Aveline being responsible for forging armed forces of this organization. Combining both imperial and Tau military traditions, those military organizations were seen as defenders of new faith. They possessed their own vehicles and even few gifted warships. Their long-range deployments remained dependent on the Tau navy and will of ethereals. A number of organizations were established, but the Sisters of the Path became the most famous, as they were modeled after the Adeptas Sororitas, yet infused with Tau philosophy and technology. The sect of the Radiant Path became the most famous of all sisterhoods soon after. The purpose of this order of warrior priestesses was twofold: to spread the Radiant Path through martial strength, and to defend the innocent from imperial persecution. Their core tenets are unity, together we are stronger. All beings have a place within the greater good, contributing to the harmony of the whole. Sacrifice, through giving we are made whole. True strength lies in selflessness and the willingness to protect and uplift others. Faith, her light, guides us. Devotion to the Radiant One and the greater good illuminates the path to a better future. Enlightenment, through service we find purpose. Understanding and growth come through acts of compassion, dedication, and wisdom. Redemption. No soul is beyond the light. Even those who have strayed can find salvation by walking the path of unity. As stated above, other militant organizations were formed, including the Knights of the Path, modeled after Frateris Templar of the distant past, operating as shock troops. Monks of the Path, a mix of inquisitors and seekers of ethereal caste, serve as spiritual enforcers of the Radiant Path, as well as a number of other militant organizations inspired by imperial counterparts. One of the most notable is the Harmonious Machine, a technological foundation of the faith, made out of engineers, renegade tech priests, and inventors found in human populations. This order of technicians that was seeking to find harmony between flesh and steel technically existed long before Helena joined the Tau Empire as disjoint alliance of renegade technicians. Helena inspired them to reorganize into a unified force, now working closely with the new church. The close cooperation between those organizations ensured that militant orders of a Radiant Path were equipped with good weapons and armor, had access to bio and mechanical augmentations, and even had access to battlesuits of human design. Since their inception, sects of the Sisters of the Path and other militant organizations fought bravely against the tyranny of the Imperium. They achieved both great victories and crushing defeats. Yet the Radiant Path endures. In her light, we are one. In her wisdom, we are bound. In her sacrifice, we are made whole. For the Radiant One, for the greater good, we walk the path of unity, faith, and purpose. And I think I will be cutting the episode here, as the main document has over 60 pages and the script is already quite long. I know I explored only 2 entries, but as I said, a lot of them are quite sizable in terms of lore, and I want to explore creations of other authors. So, what did you think of the first 2 homebrews of the season? Do you want to hear more from them, or do you prefer we went to other homebrews? I will leave the decision to you, because I honestly don't know where to even start with some entries. Before you leave, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you can, support me through Patreon or drop a donation through Ko-fi if you enjoy my work. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed. Now, my dear viewers and listeners, remember, wherever you are, whatever you do, try to enjoy yourself while you can. I wish you most heretical day. Ta-ta!